You go out to enjoy the nightlife in Stockholm. And out of nowhere, a surreal blonde appears. Hourglass waist, Disney princess face and Viking goddess body. An easy smile, good conversation, chemistry. You think, oh my God, I'm married. She kisses you like you're the last man on earth. Can you imagine that? But the next day, he sees you on the street and looks away. He pretends he doesn't know you. Or worse, he acts as if none of it ever happened. As if the previous night was just a glitch in the Swedish system. But wait, this is just the beginning of the real Sweden. Stay until the end of the video, because there are honest accounts from foreigners who experienced it all firsthand. Oh, and just one detail. The ice here is deeper than it looks. Coldness or politeness. You know those people who greet you with a good morning expression like they don't want to talk? Welcome to Sweden. When I arrived here, I thought I'd done something wrong. No one looked me in the eye, started conversation, or asked the classic, "Where are you from?" I felt invisible. Then you ask yourself, am I in trouble? But it's not rudeness, quite the opposite. Swedes are extremely polite. They respect your space, your silence, your bubble, and they expect the same from you. For someone from a warm country like Brazil or Italy, this sounds like coldness. But it's not. It's a safe distance with a polite smile. They don't interfere in your life. And they think it's strange if you try to interfere in theirs. Small talk? Fine. But deep talk? Only if you've been married for about 5 years. Sometimes not even then. Have you ever imagined working with someone for months and not knowing anything about their personal life? Yeah. Welcome to Stockholm. Is that bad? It depends. If you enjoy peace, quiet, and zero judgment, it's paradise. But if you enjoy chatting with the cashier at the grocery store or making jokes in the elevator, you'll suffer. You'll wonder, do they hate me? Or are they just Swedish? The answer is, they're just Swedish. Want to make friends here? Sit back, breathe, and wait. If a Swede asks you out for coffee for the second time, congratulations, you've become a trustworthy person. And when they open up, you discover deep, loyal, incredible people just unhurried. At first, it feels like a silent rave, everyone with headphones on, neutral expressions, no conversation. But little by little, you stop forcing conversation, observe more, talk less, and realize you've become a bit Swedish too. Then the question arises, have I changed or just adapted? Maybe both. Swedish summer love. You know that relationship that spoils you one day and ignores you the next? That's it. That's the Swedish vibe. In the summer, the country gives you flowers, tells you you're beautiful, and even offers you a dip in the lake after work. It's sunny until 10 at night, people smiling in the parks, crystal clear lakes in the middle of the city, bicycles everywhere. It almost feels like you're living in a Coca-Cola commercial. But as soon as August ends, everything changes. September arrives with a cold wind and that whisper in your ear, it's about to begin. October, 3 layers of clothing and lost gazes. November, wake up dark, live dark, sleep dark. And the sun? It becomes that friend who always promises to show up, but never does. The daylight seems dim, the gray sky seems depressed, and decides you'll be too. Your body feels it. No sun, no energy, too cold. Energy plummets, mood swings, the will to live hides under the blanket. And then you learn to do as the Swedes do, light candles, heat tea, pretend everything's fine. They call it making home cozy, the famous hygge. But look, over time, you learn to play this game. You buy the lined boots, the coat that looks like a zippered duvet, and you start to appreciate the small victories. Like seeing 6 minutes of sunlight at 11, 27-inch the morning and getting truly emotional. And just when you're about to give up, May arrives, the snow melts, the sky clears. Cafes set up tables on the sidewalk, and the Swedes emerge from their caves like survivors, smiling to the world. Then you'll understand, summer here isn't just a season, it's a collective rebirth. It's the time when the country relearns how to live. So, here's a tip. Want to truly experience Sweden? Come between June and August. It will seem like the best place in the world, but if you come in winter, prepare yourself. You'll experience a dark Sweden. And at that point, my friend, either you become Nordic by osmosis or you board the plane with your forehead pressed against the window. Rich, but expensive. Sweden welcomes you with a smile and takes your kidney at the grocery store checkout. You walk into a cafe for a cappuccino with a cinnamon bun, and you leave 12 euros short and feeling like you just financed the healthcare system. Everything is expensive, and that's no exaggeration. Ordering sparkling water requires financial planning. But do you know why? Because everything here works. Clean transportation, safety, an organized city, impeccable public services, and all of this has a price, and it appears on your monthly bill. The biggest drawback? Taxes. Here, tax isn't a tribute, it's a way of life. You work, the government takes the knife. Do you own a business? Prepare your back. Do you breathe? Carbon tax. Smile? Investigate suspicious profits. Jokes aside, the system is efficient but ruthless. Even those who work in cafes feel the strain. But the salary is decent, so the cycle is earn well, spend well, live well, but forget to save money. If you come from a country where $4 buys a full meal, be prepared. In Sweden, that doesn't even cover the restaurant's water. And the rent? Expensive. The room? Expensive. The electricity? Expensive. The Wi-Fi? Same. If you hesitate, even the bike parking in the building comes with a bill. But wait, you also get a lot. It's like eating at a very expensive restaurant. Tiny portions, but decorated with gold leaf, and the bathroom shines brighter than your conscience. You're not being cheated. You're just living in a country where quality of life is expensive, period. Is it worth it? If you value safety, cleanliness, infrastructure, and a people who respect rules, yes. But if your dream is to eat out 3 times a week and still have some left over for travel, maybe you should rethink or become a true Swede, lunchbox under your arm and cinnamon roll as a sacred ritual. Because in Sweden, life is good, but the bill comes with a hefty price tag too. Renting is chaos. Renting an apartment in Stockholm is almost an extreme sport. It's beautiful, safe, and organized. But finding a place to live? Good luck. Want a real lease in your name? A waiting list of up to 20 years. Yes, 20. There's time to raise a child and watch them move out before you get yours. The alternative? Facebook groups competing for a tiny room with a view of the wall with 47 other interested parties in the comments. It's almost like an auction for a mattress. And when you finally find something, the knife in your pocket comes. Want a window? It's expensive. Want a shared bathroom without the drama? It's expensive. Want a subway nearby? It's expensive. And the worst part? Everyone normalizes it. That's just how it is. You get used to it over time. As if sharing a refrigerator with 7 strangers were part of Nordic culture. There's supply, but the demand is absurd. Miss the timing? Sleep on a friend's couch or pay for an Airbnb at resort prices. Golden tip, see it, like it, and are you within your budget? Book it right away. Because if you wait, someone has already sent the payment. Living in Stockholm requires patience, luck, and a plan B. Found a good, affordable room? Light a candle. It was a miracle. By the way, share this video with that friend of yours who dreams of living in Sweden, thinking he'll be living in a commercial with a blonde on his lap and snow falling in slow motion. Little does he know that, behind the perfection, there is solitude, silence, and a cold that isn't just the weather. Punctual transportation. If the bus in your country is 40 minutes late and still arrives packed, be prepared. In Stockholm, transportation will disrupt your notion of normal. Here, the train arrives at the exact minute. 8:17? It's 8:17. No, it's coming. What if you're late? The driver apologizes, the system explains itself, the country reflects. Bus, subway, train, boat, and even a cable car, all connected with a single card. Everything is clean. Everything works. The cars are air-conditioned, quiet, and have real legroom. There's Wi-Fi. There's respect. No one shouts. No one plays loud music. No one cuts in line. And yes, there's a boat as public transportation. You get off the subway and take a boat as if it were a bus, a lesson in floating civilization. But it's not cheap. The monthly pass is a pain in the wallet, especially for non-students. Still, it's worth every penny. No traffic, no gas, no horns blaring in your ears. The biggest shock? The silence. The order. The peace. Things that seem like luxuries, but are just the basics. And once you get used to it, you'll never settle for less. Good! Raw food? In Sweden, the food is beautiful, clean, and seems designed to make your skin feel good. Even the tomatoes taste like tomatoes. A luxury. The restaurants? Well presented, fresh ingredients, mild seasoning, sometimes too mild, like unsalted rice with soulless salmon. But visually, it's a spectacle. The problem is the price. You order a salad with juice and pay the equivalent of a Japanese all-you-can-eat buffet. On the other hand, even the market food here is better than restaurant food in many places. And for vegans, Stockholm is paradise. Plant-based milk from every plant, pea burgers, vegan pizza, stylish cafes, and no one judges you. But here comes the plot twist. The Swedes love fish. Raw fish, pickled, fermented, with caviar in a paste. At Christmas and midsummer, you think you're in for a feast, and you find marinated herring, brown bread, and potatoes. If you're vegan, bring a packed lunch and keep smiling because the holiday turns into an animal protein rave. Eating well in Sweden is totally possible, but it requires planning, a deep wallet, and a good relationship with salmon, because here it's like rice and beans in Brazil. Strange customs. Moving to Sweden means experiencing cultural shocks that, over time, become routine. It starts at the gym. Here, you take off your sneakers to work out. Yes, you have to wear indoor sneakers. At first, it seems like a hassle. After a few weeks, you're carrying yours like a mother carries her child to school. And it makes sense. The floor is actually clean. No sticky locker room with a bus station vibe. Another classic? AirPods. Everyone uses them. Everyone. People talking to themselves at the grocery store, at the bus stop, in the middle of the street. I thought it was strange. Today, I'm one of them talking to my mom on speakerphone while picking out cauliflower. And the cold, it wins with layers. Thermals underneath, fleece in between, and a military jacket on top. You leave the house looking like a walking comforter, with a zipper, scarf, hat, and dignity hidden among your clothes. The craziest thing is how all of this becomes normal. You start to judge people who wear dirty sneakers to the gym. You find it strange that people don't wear AirPods. And you feel naked if you go out in just one layer in November. And when you return to your country, the reverse shock arrives. Why doesn't anyone take off their shoes in here? This locker room is so disgusting. That's when you realize Sweden has entered you. And even the strangest habits start to make perfect sense. Mission: buying alcohol. In Sweden, buying alcohol isn't easy. Forget the grocery store. Want wine, vodka, or strong beer? Only at Systembolaget, the state-owned store exclusively for drinks with more than 3.5% alcohol. And the drama doesn't stop there. The place has bank hours. It closes at 6 p.m. on weekdays, 3 p.m. on Saturdays, and Sundays, it's not open at all. If you want a bottle of wine on the weekend, you have to plan like a military attack. The grocery store only sells weak beer like barley-flavored water. The Swedes know this. That's why there's already a line at Systembolaget on Thursday. It's practically a race for alcoholic survival before the weekend. Want to drink? You have to be 20 or 21 to buy, but only 18 to consume. Confused? It's the law. Nightclubs, Some only accept people over 23, and there are even reports of foreigners being barred for not speaking Swedish. And the prices? A simple drink costs what lunch in Paris would cost. Wine at a restaurant? You'll have to sell a kidney. So, the plan is clear. Drink at home before going out. The famous Swedish warm-up is practically mandatory. In the end, it makes sense. The goal is to reduce excessive consumption, and it actually works. But to outsiders, it feels like punishment. Saturday arrives, 4:01 p.m. Systembolaget is closed. No wine, no gin, only regret. In Sweden, if you want to drink, you have to organize yourself, or you go into forced detox mode. Nightlife. Do you think nightlife in Sweden is just blondes dancing EDM in an ice bar? Well, let me tell you something. Getting into a club in Stockholm is harder than getting a US visa, seriously. You get all dressed up, spend half a bottle of expensive perfume, practice your hey hey in the mirror, get to the club door, and the bouncer stops you with a look. Why? You don't speak Swedish. That's right. There are clubs in Sweden where, if they realize you're a foreigner, they won't let you in. And they don't even try to hide it. You say hi instead of hey. And the guy at the door crosses his arms with that, "Not today, champ," look on his face. And the most absurd thing is that this happens in a country that claims to be modern, inclusive, and multicultural, but in practice, there are clubs that only want Swedish players, blonde, standard, fluent, and with the look of someone who leave before 2 a.m. This has happened to several foreigners, and not just once. You can be dressed like everyone else, be polite, sober, and have up-to-date ID, but if the club is packed and you say hello at the door, you might turn around. Of course, not every nightclub is like this, but this kind of veiled discrimination happens and no one talks about it much, and even when you get in, the vibe isn't exactly warm. People dance in frost-free refrigerator mode. No one leans in, no one jumps in, no one lets out an, "Oh my God!" When their favorite comes on, everyone's there. Drinking overpriced drinks, talking quietly, and staring into space with a look of, "I want to leave, but I can't." And if you, hot Latino Brazilian, decide to dance excitedly, everyone looks at you like you've committed a crime of excitement. But hey, there's a trick. The pre-warm-up, the famous warm-up. In Sweden, no one leaves home sober, because drinking at clubs is incredibly expensive and people already know the night will be cold emotionally and thermally. So the plan is, you drink at home with friends, play some board games, yes, this is common, laugh, warm up, and then you go to the club, somewhat calibrated, to pretend you're having fun in an environment where excitement is measured in decibels of silence. Now, let's be fair, there are good parties, especially if you find the right clubs or meet Swedes who will take you. But for those who arrive alone, without contacts and without fluency, it's lonely. And then comes the burning question. How can such an advanced country still select people at clubs as if it were a fancy condominium party? Maybe out of fear, maybe out of habit, maybe out of pure elitism disguised as house politics. But the fact is, in 2025, there are still places in Sweden where speaking English at the door gets you out of the line and back to reality. What do immigrants say? You know when it seems like everyone is looking at you strangely, even though you haven't done anything? That's how many foreigners felt when they arrived in Sweden. A Brazilian woman said the silence on the streets was so intense that she thought something was wrong with her. Just by speaking a little louder on the subway, everyone would stare. Not because she was rude, but because she was being too lively. And she wasn't the only one. A Greek man said that in Greece, people talk loudly, laugh and hug, especially after a few beers. In Sweden, however, it's the opposite. During the day, they're cold and reserved. At night, they drink and get affectionate. The next day, they act as if nothing had happened. Strange, right? A Canadian woman found it bizarre that in stores no one asks, "How are you?" In Canada, this is a given. In Sweden, these kinds of questions seem invasive. They avoid any discomfort. An Italian man was shocked by the strollers left unattended on the sidewalk while parents drink coffee inside. It's common there. Total trust. Another Brazilian said that Swedes are so proper they don't even say, "Excuse me." They just sneak past, and no one strikes up a conversation. You can go months without hearing a spontaneous "hi." But the hardest part is the loneliness. Many people said that even after years of living there, they never made friends with Swedes. They're polite, but it's as if they have an invisible wall. Making friends seems like something that needs to be planned in advance. Want to be spontaneous? Good luck. There, even free time needs to be scheduled. No, shall we grab coffee after work? That has to be scheduled 2 weeks in advance. If it's not on Google Calendar, it won't happen. And the worst part isn't always the silence or the coldness. It's the darkness. In winter, the sun barely shines. In some regions, there are only 3 or 4 hours of daylight per day. And it's not even that strong Sunday. It's a dim, gray light that fades quickly. An American woman said she thought she was ready for the cold, but she wasn't ready for this darkness. It's tiring. It wears her down. Even with all this, most of these people chose to stay in Sweden because the country offers things few others do. Safety, functioning transportation, free healthcare, everything organized, contact with nature, and equality, especially for women. But there's a price. You'll have to get used to the silence, to the loneliness, to meetings scheduled 10 days in advance, and to the fact that making friends there takes time. Oh, and if you're Brazilian, here's a heads up. If they've scheduled a meeting for 9 a.m., arrive at 8:45, because 9 a.m. is already late. And if you've made it this far, comment Sweden below, just so I know who would brave the cold, the loneliness, and even schedule a coffee 15 days in advance. Because living in Sweden is beautiful on Instagram. But here, we've shared what no one has the courage to show. Oh, and click on the video on the screen now, because here we show the other side with the sincerity you don't see in travel guides. Thanks, everyone, and see you next time.